Okay, it's that time of year. Get ready to talk some shit on some dolls.
My muse, 'cause I need an exhale and a man who could do it like me. I like it rough and harder than a diamond. He can hit the blunt while he's breaking in the hymen.
Hey, dumpster divers, and welcome back to a new episode of, well, doll collecting used to be fun. So I've been doing these for years. Every year we do a countdown of like our 20 least favorite dolls from 2020 whatever, and this year it's 2023, and this is voted on by you guys. I ask on like different social media platforms. I do it a couple times, and then I just kind of tally the votes and see where we end up and land. We start with 20 being like not our least favorite, but it is, and then number 1 being our absolute most least favorite. We're gonna get into it because we have 20 plus dolls to talk about. And of course, number 20 is the Mattel Creations Darkness Descends Maleficent doll that was $150 for what? She comes with insane packaging, she comes with articulation, and she comes with Mattel quality. So is that all worth $150? Apparently not, because she ended up on the list. I get like what's going on here. Mattel Creations loves doing a giant cardboard box with some color on it and justifying like their $150 price point. She comes with articulation, she comes with some decent fabrics, like there's some vinyl in there, you know? Then they slap on some plastic wings on the back and call it a day. It's a very like shake and bake, throw it out in the public Mattel move. And then the price point is very Mattel too, where they just take like a dart and they throw it on the wall where their intern hangs out. And whatever little piece of triangle on the dartboard it lands on, that's the price point. And they seem to hit that $150 price point a lot. Like, and she's a beautiful doll. Mattel does a really good face sculpt and everything, but $150, like for real. And it's dumb as shit because I'm 90% sure she sold out like immediately, because Mattel Creation stuff usually does. But when you got your hollowed out articulated collector doll, was she worth it? Okay, so number 19 is one that I don't necessarily like agree with. I don't have a problem with it, but got voted enough that it ended up on the spot on the list. And that is the Monster High Cleo de Nile Deuce Gorgon Valentine's Day 2-pack. And looking at it, I think the reason why is probably because of like Cleo's outfit probably wasn't people's favorite, because like I don't, do we usually see Cleo in like a mermaid sculpt kind of dress or anything, and like the little emblems on it are a little cheesy, cartoony. I'm a Cleo girl, like she's my favorite Monster High character, so I'm a little more like on board with Cleo. Yeah, the accessories look a little like cheapy and everything, and like Deuce, to me, he just looks like he's wearing like almost like a recycled BTS dolls suit. But I like classic Deuce with his like scaly hair and everything. Like I think he looks really good, but like I kind of get what's going on here. Yeah, and I can tell by looking at the promo pictures that it's very much that like satin paper fabric that Mattel does a lot, where they can just stamp print it on things. $55. So number 18 was one I was a little surprised, like one was even on people's radar enough to really be on a least favorites list, but Disney I Love You Forever 12-inch like holiday set. I think that's like the first time we kind of saw them like get stripped down a little bit, and maybe they just didn't like the cheesiness of the holiday, which is crazy because like I feel like when those first came out, everybody was like run into the Disney like land park, theme parks and everything, and like going to the stores physically and getting them for like cheaper and selling them out and everything. But like, and he was like, I think one of the characters in it was like the first one to come with like a cochlear implant or something, or a hearing aid, I can't remember. Was it like the first time we got rid of the inset eyes, or were they still inset? I don't know. I like Disney I Love You Forever dolls because they are articulated, they come with a good amount of detail, they're Disney themed, which is it can be fun, but it can be cheesy. So number 17 I kind of get. God, look at my boobs. Number 17 I kind of get because they're just a bitch and a half to get, and that is the Chucky and Tiff Skulltimate collector dolls from Monster High and Mattel Creations. And then these ones I remember like when they would show, like, you know, they'll do like Mattel Creations, they'll do like this little close-up of the details and everything, and you could just tell that they weren't really thought out as well. The like design direction didn't go as well. You could see like the materials were a little bit more cheap and stuff like that. And I remember people saying that. And I never go for the Skulltimate Collector dolls because, you know, pain in the ass. I tried for Elvira, I think, but that was it. I just remember like people getting them in real life too and kind of being disappointed. Not everyone. Some people were super happy to get them. But the people who were disappointed, like, I get it. You spend all this money. You're like rushing to get them. You're like freaking out because they might sell out, and then you get it. And you're just like, oh, okay. So it's just kind of like what Playline quality was a couple years ago. Slay. So number 16 is Monster High Fancy Laguna doll. She came up a lot, and I get it. There's a lot going on here. Whoever was divvying out the budget for this at Mattel really said there are no bad ideas and you can do whatever you want. Here's your budget. Next, number 15 are the Bratz reproduction dolls, and I don't even get why they'd be on the least favorites list because there were so many good ones. And if you're a Bratz person, getting some of these older dolls and, you know, getting them back into circulation, like reproducted, you know, maybe they don't have everything that the original did, but they're still like really good faithful reproductions. I feel as like a Bratz stan, that would be like a really cool thing to have, right? I like it too because dolls like Felicia came out, which really put a damper in like the third party like seller market because fuck them. I like when companies do faithful reproductions and stuff like that because it does kind of like eat into the whole scalper culture and everything and kind of dampen it a little bit, because honestly those people deserve to have their house taken away. Like, if you're a reseller and you're getting stuff to people who may not be able to get it because it's like an exclusive in a certain country or whatever, it's fine if you're a reseller, because you resellers like to, you know, tattle on yourselves sometimes in my comments. But for the actual like shitty people who are just taking everything out and reselling them, you're pieces of shit, you know, like point blank. And maybe that's who voted for these Bratz repros. They were probably mad because they weren't making as many sales as they could, which, you know, sucks. Eat ass. Okay, number 14 are the Magic Mixie Pixlings. And I think like they're cute. I like the mermaid one. That's probably the only one I would ever get. And they've been out for a minute, but I've noticed like right now, because it's like Christmas time, I've been noticing like a lot of influencers are hawking those dolls and getting them in PR and everything, or like sponsored content, because like some of you aren't really, you aren't specifying really whether it's sponsored content or PR, but like they're cute, you know, like they kind of remind me of like Fail Fix meets Enchantimals, if that makes sense. And I don't even think they're that much money either. I think they're under like $20, which isn't bad in today's doll market. They're still kind of blind boxy, and the whole blind box gimmick is getting a little tired, but you know, I'm not a child. These are marketed towards children. Maybe children are really still into the whole blind box thing. Hooray for you. Number 13, controversial, Mariah Carey doll. I thought she was like highly anticipated and everything. Yeah, I thought people were waiting for her because she like popped up with like a Target UPC code like last year or something. Like we knew we were gonna get her, and then this year she was hard to get, and maybe that's why people, it's their least favorite, because she was just so hard to get and annoying, and like she kept popping up and disappearing, and I think she was the FAO Schwartz and all that stuff. And yeah, or maybe it's because, you know, it's just like maybe they don't like the face sculpt. I think it looks like her, but maybe to some like Mariah Carey fans who really know her, maybe it doesn't look like her. Number 12. It wouldn't be a countdown of the least favorite dolls of the year if we didn't include the holiday Barbie dolls. I mean, come on guys, they're fun. They look like little Botox grannies. This happened last year too. So number 11 are the Generation 3 Monster High dolls. People really don't like them. I don't know why. I think they're fine for like the price point and Mattel and like redoing everything. That show is a mess, but the dolls seem to be like more of the focus than the actual show. And somebody who I know really doesn't like Generation 3 dolls is, I don't even know who they are. It's on Instagram. They're like Botox Overdose or something. They're always making fun of Draculaura for being fat, which is just dumb as shit. But they're a meme account. They make a lot of memes. And outside of like, you know, that, they're usually pretty funny. I don't know. This was the same thing that happened last year. People were mad that Draculaura had curves, and I'm like, boo-hoo. Number 10, we're in the top 10 least favorites of 2023, and starting that off is the Disney Store limited edition dolls, because yeah, what the fuck's going on? They used to be like, I think they were like 120, and then they went to like 130, and now they're 150, and they're like more expensive, and they are getting very dumbed down in quality. Like, there's quality, but it's dumbed down a lot. I don't know if you guys remember that 17-inch limited edition Mirabelle doll that came out, you know, years after the movie. And she had embroidery, and she had some of those like 90s craft butterfly beads that you got, you know, in every single bead kit. And then that was it. And she was $150. And yeah, I guess if you're going for accuracy, that's, you know, fine. Like, a lot of Disney fans, they have a hard time toting, like, they want like super movie accurate costumes, but they also don't, and they want like the quality, you know. It's a fun dichotomy where I see Disney fans doing that, and then they'll complain if like a Disney princess is put in a new outfit, but then they'll complain if they're like, well, they've already done Ariel's blue dress, you know. And so it's just kind of like give and take. And I know I love live action Halle Bailey, and I got 2 of those 17-inch limited edition dolls this year, and I was like, okay, like, I love her, but $150 was a lot, and she was super scratched up. They spray painted her belly. The outfits were fine, but they put like a ton of basting stitches through the outfit, and when you pull them out, they left huge holes in the fabric. And I unbox my dolls usually, but for people who don't unbox their dolls, the limited edition dolls do look a little bit better inside the box and undisturbed, where they can hide all their secrets. But when you take them out, you kind of realize you're like, oh, okay, $150, huh? Number 9. The Bratz X Kylie collaboration. I remember that being such a launch. There were those like Kylie like forehead promo pictures or whatever they were, that weren't even like, they weren't real. I think they were just like placeholders or something, and they actually like fixed them later on. And I just remember like the whole thing just being like a huge mess, and it's just funny that it's Kylie, and then you got that random ass like 24-inch doll or whatever it is. It's like a way taller doll, which looks great. Like, I think they all look great. They're very modern, they're very contemporary. Kind of see how they look like Kylie. It's really hard to do with like, you know, the whole stylized Bratz face sculpt, but I can kind of see it. And like, they're fine, but it was such a funny collab. It makes sense for Bratz. It really does. Number 8, the Monster High Off-White dolls, which, yeah, fucked, right? First of all, I don't even think they look like super duper, let alone like, how expensive were those bitches? Once again, Mattel's favorite limited edition price, $150. I mean, yeah. They also aren't super like Monster High inspired looking fashions. The one with like the nail through the neck or something, that's kind of cool. Like, there's some coolness to these, but $150. Also, I heard like the launch was really messy or something, and it happened like way too fast. Like, nobody even knew these dolls were coming out, and then all of a sudden they were out. I don't know. Can you even get them still, or are they sold out? Looks like Harmony Ghoul is still available on MattelCreations.com. Says add to cart, limit 2 per user. So maybe they didn't sell out, which, you know, I get. So number 7, it's just like flat out Skull Lecter Monster High dolls, which we kind of touched with like the whole, you know, Chucky and Tiff Playline collector set, whatever. Same thing at Mattel. So the Skull Lecter dolls, they do a lot of drops. They're really hard to get. They sell out really quick. And it sucks for like a lot of like longtime Monster High fans. They just want their dolls. They like them. They really appreciate them. They appreciate that there's like some decent quality shoved into them. And usually, if I remember correctly, like usually the Skulllector dolls don't often go over like $100, and then you're getting 2 dolls typically, which I think is really slay. So I could see like them being so far up the list just because of like how frustrating it is to get them and everything. Number 6, I would consider too generous of a position on this list, and I would almost consider it a personal attack, and that is the live action Mattel action figure, because we're not calling her a doll. What the fuck was that? And we only got one Ursula doll for anything. Like, well, technically if you count the baby dolls and the mini dolls, we got a couple of Ursula dolls. But if we're talking about regular 12-inch fashion dolls, she doesn't even qualify. Like, she's barely articulated. She is an action figure. Like, she's a hunk of plastic, which that is what a doll is, but usually you can slap some paper fabric on top of that, Mattel. Like, what is this? You know? It's like, I get it, Ursula's like a hard thing to design because of the tentacles and everything, but Disney Store couldn't even do one where she's like a beanbag with some wire in there so you can like articulate her tentacles. Like, we couldn't have done that, Disney. You had to leave it up to Mattel, because that's what we got. Number 5. I honestly, I didn't even think these would be on the list because I didn't think people really paid attention, but the Style Bay dolls, I think the faces are so freaking cute. They remind me so much of like 2004 like Bratz on the shelves, those MGA like cunty princesses, you know, like My Scene, like all that stuff. They're giving me like those kind of vibes a little bit. Not like, obviously My Scene's a different caliber, an amazing caliber, but like they're fine in the face. But yeah, the whole like flat body gimmick and everything. And I'm 90% sure Toya from My Froggy Stuff, I bet she had some made to move bodies in the background to like put them on, because she's the reason I can't ever buy made to move stuff, because Toya hoards them all. I can't buy them. Anytime they show up on Amazon, who do you think's putting them in their cart the second they come in? Toya. Number 4. Yeah. The Claudia Schiffer doll. We sure waited a long time for this, didn't we? I feel like she was announced forever ago and she kept leaking on the internet, and then they finally like give her to us like 5 years later. And I don't know, the dress just isn't like, I feel like it's not tailored, like it's not looking really good. The face is like okay, like I see Claudia in there and everything. It's just not like the best it could be. I don't know, it's just it's just not hitting right, you know? But you guys let me know. Like, she's really far down on the list, so a lot of people were just as disappointed with her as I was. And I didn't even attempt to get her. I was just like, nah, I'm good. Thanks, though. Okay, number 3. We're getting into the top 3 of our least favorite for 2023. Can I say 3 one more time? 3. The Barbie movie dolls. Now, I know, like, I don't want to ruin anything, but they are on the favorites list as well. But the Barbie movie dolls were just a gigantic mess. The Barbie movie, I feel like it was so huge, and it was such like a cultural whatever. Like, it really showed that like women should be telling more stories in Hollywood. It really showed that like original ideas in Hollywood are gonna do well, etc. And so the dolls, like, everybody wanted to get their hands on them, and I got a couple, but I didn't get a ton, you know. So yeah, just a huge pain in the ass to get. And honestly, I feel like it wasn't talked about enough. $50 per doll. Like, some were $25, which was great. Like, that was fantastic. But $50 per doll. And half those people, it was like Playline quality barely, you know? Hollowed out bodies. Yes, they're semi-articulated. Like, you know, they're not fully articulated. Like, I got the pink Western cowgirl Barbie, and I was so excited. And then, like, there's still, like, little stamped on printed details. There's some, like, actual detail, you know? And, like, she's cute, but she's super lightweight. She barely can sit down in the car, like, kind of a thing. Like, that's how bad the articulation is. It's stiff. You can hear it creaking when you move it, stuff like that. And, you know, $50, super hard to get. And I was just lucky enough to get her off Target.com before she sold out. But the people who pay like scalper prices for these dolls, like, I feel bad for you, because like, was it worth it? No, those are Playline dolls. Okay, so this one was very interesting to me, and it came up a lot. So number 2 is the Monster High Skulltimate Secrets Viridescent dolls. Like, they came up a lot, and I thought they were fine, but other people didn't. And I'm looking at like some, you know, in real life pictures of Frankie, and I get it, because what are they, like $30 each or something? And, you know, I thought I wanted the Cleo. Oh wow, Claudine is boring. You know, I thought I wanted the Cleo, the like golden one where she has like gold lips and gold everything. Like, she's fine, but yeah, I don't know, they showed up a lot, dude. And I don't know why, so please, in the comments, let me know, because I would really like to know what's going on here, because they're fine, but I don't think they should be this far up the list. Okay, so before we get into the number 1 least favorite dolls of 2023, let's talk about some honorable mentions. Every single year, these get voted on so much, and I won't put them on the actual, like, list anymore, because, guys, they are what they are. Fashionistas, the Barbie fashionistas, they're $10 Playline dolls that you use for head swapping if you're a collector. They exist in the format that, like, anybody could afford them, typically. It's supposed to be like, if you want a Barbie doll really bad and you're saving up, $10 is easy to save for. They're diverse. Yeah, the fashions aren't that great, and calling them fashionistas was a choice, which I don't even think they do that anymore. I think they just call them, like, well, no, they call them fashionistas still, but then it's like number, 184. But guys, they are what they are. They're accessible dolls with fabric clothing. It's not the best clothing. Diverse face sculpts, hair textures, skin tones, etc. I think they're fine for what they are, but they always end up on the list, and you don't have to buy them. Another thing that's always on the list every year is Barbie's price point versus the amount of detail they put in. Like, I'm all for inflation and whatever, like, rah rah, capitalism, yay, go America, Eagle sound, whatever. But if we're gonna do it, if you're gonna charge me more, I better be getting the exact same fucking quality as I was. Like, let's say if $15 whatever now means $25, then that $25 should still have the amount of quality that $15 doll did, if that's how inflation works. I shouldn't be paying more and getting less. Like, I'll pay that premium if you can keep the quality going, which Barbie's, it's so, like, hit and miss. Like, Mattel, it's a fucking shitstorm, dude, just trying to grab them and see, like, where they're going with this doll, and then that doll, and then this, and then all of a sudden, like, the live action Little Mermaid stuff, there's some decent quality within the Playline, and then, like, right next to that we have Playline collector dolls for the Barbie movie. And then from the same, like, Barbie movie collection dolls, you can get, like, an articulated Ken that comes with a surfboard for, like, half the price, or a Barbie with some pleats in her dress and, like, details and everything and articulation for half the price. So it's just so all over the place. All right, and then number 1 is the Rainbow High direction. Like, where's it going? I think one of the problems with me doing this kind of video and asking you guys for your input at the time I do is because it is at a point in time. We are in, like, a stasis almost. So of course the Rainbow High rebranding or whatever is going to be on everybody's mind, and that's why it was voted for so much. And I said this in my last video, I think the Rainbow High direction is fine. It's not amazing, but it's fine. And it's hard when, like, what Rainbow High used to be. For, like, 20 something dollars, we got, like, 2 outfits, a fully articulated doll, a stand, like, a ton of packaging. Like, they're beautiful, they have beautiful faces, really, like, quality hair and everything. And then you see this new doll for, like, $25. It only comes with 1 outfit. It's still articulated, there's still a stand, but we're also doing, like, the slime gimmick again, and it feels like we're going backwards instead of forwards. Like, I get it. I get why they're so on people's minds. And I made this point in my last video. Look at everything you get for $25 from Rainbow High, and then look at everything you get from Barbie for $25. Those are 2 different tax brackets, baby. You're not getting your $25 worth from Barbie like you are from Rainbow High, And this happened with, like, Monster High G2. They went way too cutesy, and it was just, like, not received well. And then Monster High G1 was, like, so spooky dooky emaciated little, like, skinny bodies. And then for G3 to come in and kind of balance those, I think that was, like, a good mix of, like, the cutesy but the, like, body diversity and everything else that was going on. So Rainbow High itself, I think it just kind of overshot a little bit with the cutesy, and I feel like if this doesn't fuck them, then I feel like they can reel it back in and still have kind of, like, the cunty and the cutesy, you know? All right, guys, those are our least favorites of 2023. Thank you so much for submitting. And, you know, it's, yeah, what a fucking turd basket that was. I'm super excited to end the year with our most favorite dolls of 2023. I always like doing that video after this to cheer me up, because this is probably like the least mad I've ever been when I've done the least favorite dolls, but like, yeah, because I didn't make myself mad before this. Usually I do. And it was just kind of more funny to see like what you guys were thinking for 2023 and like the stuff I liked, and then you guys were just like reading me to filth because you're like, yeah, no, those are ass. I'm like, good to know. So yeah, I will see you guys in my next episode where my divorced dad becomes my roommate in college and we have to learn how to live together again, even though we lived together our whole life. Yeah, it only goes for 2 seasons and Fox has already canceled it. Fucking Ursula action figure, I swear.